So, as the people of Bahrain are very much a victim people, we are here to see how we can support the people and how we can have our minds set to see some ideas which will help everybody, every one of us, and also including the people who will be following us. Some of the stations here will be live coverage covering this event, so that all the thousands of people who are watching and following will also understand how they can have their shares in supporting a real democratic and political change in Bahrain. Today we will have the main two objectives and themes of this conference will be, the first one is how we can strive for a real change and legitimate change in Bahrain. The speakers will highlight the need for a real, legitimate and a serious democratic change in Bahrain, and they will address the grievances of the people and how they need to be granted the rights of self-determination and pave the ways for a new constitutional change and lead to a political system based on principle of one man, one vote, and a full and justified reconciliation in Bahrain. The second theme, which we will be tackling, is how to have a consecration of human rights in Bahrain. As you know, the record of Bahrain is totally black record. There has been at least 200 recommendations from the international community and the Human Rights Council of the United Nations towards Bahrain to try and stop the atrocities and brutality against the people in Bahrain, but none of these have been adopted or have been applied actually. So our participant will see the aspects of appealing human rights situation and see how we can get at least the Bahraini regime to be responsible, responsible by the international community, by the organizations and the entities of the international community towards whatever being committed against the people of Bahrain. As we could see lately, there has been lots of killing outside the law. There is lots of torture reports coming in. At least a number of the political detainees have been killed in prison under torture, and still for the fifth year the United Nations is asking the regime of Bahrain to have the special rapporteur on torture, allowing him to go to Bahrain, but he's being denied entry. So we have lots of torture, arbitrary detention, forced disappearances, executions, revocation of citizenship, and banishment of natives. And we have for 8 months a complete siege of the city of Daraz, having 25,000 of people and depriving their main right of living in Bahrain. So we are here today to see how we can aid in ratifying this change, which we will have sooner or later in Bahrain, but we have to be responsible towards how we can give it a big shot and a big drive from our experiences, from our backgrounds, from our very human hearts, and see how we can have all the audiences around us try to be part of this. Probably by putting some force on so-called allies of Bahrain, especially in the West. This country is one of them, probably to push some MPs and politicians to put pressure of some of the administrations to try and change their unlogical and unjustified support for the brutal regime of Bahrain. We will have the opening session with keynote speakers, very honorable persons, and then we will directly have our first panel, which is titled Thrive for Change, Political Change in Bahrain, and then we'll have a break and prayers and refreshments, and then we'll come back. Of course, you have the program in your folders. Then we will reconvene for the second panel, which will be directed at how we can push for a better human rights situation, a very strong basis of human rights in Bahrain. And then, of course, we will then go into three groups. That will be around 2:30 or quarter to 3. We will go into three groups. We'll direct you. One group will be focusing on the political resolutions, the political ideas to help advance the situation in Bahrain into a better political situation. The second one will be basically on how we can push for better human rights in Bahrain, and the third group will be focusing on how the media can be part of this change and pushing to stop all the atrocities and push for better life in Bahrain. And of course, as you know, because of the Saudi and the Gulf petrodollar money, there have been lots of all these international media have stopped talking about whatever the people of Bahrain are facing. So the third group will see how we can break that ban on the media around this situation in Bahrain. Okay, I would like to introduce some of our key note speakers. We will start with the well-known Professor Rodney Shakespeare, who is a political analyst and professor at the Binary Economics of London and author of many books, and he is a very strong defender of the oppressed people around the world. He is a political analyst and commentator. Please join me in welcoming Professor Rodney Shakespeare.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Members of conference, fellow guests, and our chair, Jalal Ferouz. I can't prove this, you can call it just a theory, but I do believe that as a percentage of the population on the streets for a democratic occasion, which we'll call that the uprising in 2011, I think that Bahrain is the tops. You do see